Hare Krishna. Unit 2, Lesson 6, Selecting Guru. So now we are going to discuss how one should select his Guru. First, we should know that what a bona fide spiritual master, what qualifications he must have. From our scriptures, first we will see the qualifications of a bona fide guru. Means first we should know what are the qualifications of a bona fide spiritual master. In Upadeshamrit Shloka 1, it is mentioned that Vacho Vegam Manasa Krodha Vegam Jiva Vegam Udarupasta Vegam Etan Veganyo Vishaheta Dhiraha Sarvam Apimam Prithibim Sashishat. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Means our guru must have control on these 6 urges. We are in this material body and we are in this material world. So it's very natural that these 6 urges will be there. But a sober person can tolerate these 6 urges. He will not speak unnecessarily or criticizing someone or prajalpas or materialistic things continuously like that. He will speak only about Krishna and whatever necessary. Mind's demands. In mind, so many things can come, good, bad, anything. But he will not give access to all the thoughts. He will give access to only meditating on Krishna from his mind. So the actions of anger means anger is very prominent, but he will use those anger who are envious to Lord Krishna and his devotees, Lord Krishna's devotees, and he will otherwise control the anger. The urge of the tongue means he will not eat anything that his tongue want, but he will eat only Krishna prasadam. And belly means whatever required for the maintaining of body, not just eating and eating and eating. So he has control on the belly. Even if belly is asking more because of the taste, and also belly is asking more, but he will take the required quantity. Genitals means he will use the genitals only to give Krishna conscious child to this world. So this kind of person can make disciples all over the world. Means he can be the Jagat Guru. So qualifications of bona fide Guru is mentioned in Mundak Upanishad 1.2.12. Tad Vijnanartha cha Gurum eva bhigachet Smit Paituch Shrutiya Brahma Ninoham. To understand these things properly, one must humbly approach with firewood in hand a spiritual master who is learned in the Vedas and firmly devoted to the absolute truth. So here we can see the 2 qualifications from Mundak Upanishad. A spiritual master is learned in the Vedas, and second one is firmly devoted to the absolute truth. And who is absolute truth? Lord Krishna is the absolute truth. So here it is mentioned that one must humbly approach with firewood in the hand. Means we should not go empty handed to our Guru. Why firewood is mentioned? Because Guru does yajna. So if you can't take anything, then at least you should have some like firewood in your hand and approach Guru. Another qualification from Chaitanya Charitamrita Antyalila, Achar Prachar Namer Karaha Dui Karja Tumi Sarva Guru Tumi Jagatera Arja. You simultaneously perform both duties in relation to the holy name by your personal behavior and by your preaching. So we can see that a qualification of a bona fide spiritual master is he is personally also practicing chanting holy name without offense, and he is also preaching the same. Means there is no difference between his behavior and preaching. If he is seriously attending Mangala Arati, then he is preaching the same thing. He is not like doing something and preaching something. He is same. Therefore, you are the spiritual master of the entire world, for you are the most advanced devotee in the world. It is written in Antalila Chaitanya Charitamrita 4.103. Again, in the purport 4.103, the qualifications expressed in this connection are that one must act according to the spiritual injunctions. Means a bona fide spiritual master will never act against scriptures. His every actions will be as per scriptures. Whatever he speak will be as per the scriptures. One who does so, he is a bona fide spiritual master. And some people in general public, they think, okay, as per birth also one can be a guru. No, one can be a birth by birth, maybe Shudras, but if he is Krishna Tattvaveta, he know the science of Lord Krishna, then he can become a guru. So it is written in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila 8.128. Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyashi, Shudra Kenenai, Jai Krishna Tattvaveta, say Guru Hai. Whether one is Brahmana, a sannyasi, or a Shudra, regardless of what he is, doesn't matter. He might be a Brahmana from a Brahman family, or a Shudra by birth. He might be a sannyasi. Doesn't matter. He can become a spiritual master if he knows the science of Krishna. So even without any qualifications, one can be a spiritual master. How? Now the process is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Amar Agyay. Jare dekho, tare kaho, Krishna upadesh. Amar Agyay, Guru haya, taro e desh. On my order. That is the crucial point. We need order, or we need the approval from the superior authority. One does not become a spiritual master by his own whims. Like nowadays, so many people like they made the religion as their business and they become suddenly guru. They achieve some siddhi and they show it to the public, and public thinks, oh, he is God, and they become guru and they says that worship me as a god. And fake gurus, one cannot be like that. He must be from a authentic parampara, belong to authentic parampara, and he must have the permission from the authority to become guru. So if somebody becomes spiritual master by his own whims, means he is not a spiritual master. He must be, what is the qualification of an authentic spiritual master? He must be ordered by superior authority. Amar Agyay. In lecture on Bhagavad Gita 2.2 London, August 3, 1973, Srila Prabhupada said that then he is a spiritual master, Amar Agyay. Just like in our case, our superior authority, our spiritual master, he ordered me, Srila Prabhupada's Guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ordered that you just try to preach this gospel, whatever you have learned from me in English. So we have tried it, that's all. Srila Prabhupada, that's why wrote the purports of like Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam in English. Actually, Srila Prabhupada purified English language by writing all the books in English, and because his guru instructed that. That's why even the Western countries now becoming so much in Krishna consciousness because of Srila Prabhupada, because he has given the books, the philosophy. So in selecting guru, so therefore the process is, before accepting a guru, one must hear him at least for 1 year. This is the process. We should not like okay, now it's fashion accepting a guru, okay, I should also have a guru. If we accept a guru like this is a wrong approach. This is not a proper way selecting guru. So the good method is we should hear at least 1 year before accepting Guru. Because if we hear Guru, we will develop faith. And without faith, if we accept a Guru, we will not obey his order. If tomorrow he wants to discipline us, then we will not like it and we will run away. So for that we must have full firm faith and we must consider him as our heart and soul. For that purpose we need to hear. Like before going to a place, if you don't know the place, then you have like no faith, or you're never willing to go to the place. But from some friends you have heard that okay, that place is very beautiful. By hearing from many friends, then you also want to visit that place, like that. So here if we hear, then because Guru, the authentic spiritual master always speaks about Krishna, and by hearing continuously only we can develop the firm faith. And when you are convinced that here is actually a Guru who can teach me, then you accept him as a Guru. Don't accept whimsically. This is the proper method of selecting Guru. How we should select? Hear from 1 year his lectures, and then when you are convinced that, oh, this is my Guru, his instructions I can accept, his teachings I can accept, he can take me back to Godhead, he can teach me, then accept him. The scriptures recommend that both the spiritual master and the disciple place each other under strict scrutiny before mutual acceptance. We will approach Guru Maharaj, I want Diksha from you, kindly accept me. Then there will be a period. Then Guru will also see us, that how much actually sincere the disciple is who want to be, and also see our surrender towards him. If we find out that he is not that surrendered, he might not give Diksha. We cannot compel. Okay, so it should be mutual acceptance. And since even ordinary household items, when we go to the grocery and we buy 50 rupee things or 10-20 rupees things, then also we test it, like okay, it is good or bad, what is the expiry date, and like that. So since even ordinary household items are tested before acquisition, it is only an unfortunate fool who will fail to go through a testing period in the selection of his true spiritual master, who is the best friend of all living entities. So we should use our intelligence, we should go through this testing period. We will also see Guru and how much conviction we having, and Guru will also see our surrender unto us if we are approaching our authentic spiritual master. And if we are like bewildered, like the unappropriate way of selecting a Guru is like, okay, he is from my caste, so I should select him as my Guru. No, this is an inappropriate method. Oh, my whole family took initiation from him. Maybe that Guru is not in authentic line. Then also sometimes what happened, okay, whole family took initiation from him, so I should take. Or this is a family pressure. Or the whole village is taken, so I should take from him. No, we cannot select like that. This is not the right process. Or okay, my Guru roam around all over world, and I can also go for foreign trip, or maybe in a foreign ISKCON I can establish myself and I will get green card. And this is a wrong wrong method of selecting Guru. Or somebody may select, okay, he is aged, I want a aged Guru, means 95 or 90, like that. This is also wrong process. Oh, he is so famous, he has so many followers, that's why he should be my Guru. No, this is inappropriate method again. Or if we think that okay, he is a sannyasi, that's why he should be my Guru. This is or he is a grihastha, that's why he should be my Guru. This is also inappropriate method. Anybody can become Guru, sannyasi or grihastha. Earlier, almost all Gurus were grihastha, like Krishna's Guru Sandipani Muni, grihastha. Ved Vyas, grihastha. Bhakti Vinod Thakur, grihastha. Advaita Acharya, grihastha. Nityananda Prabhu, grihastha. And there are sannyasis, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada also was earlier he was also Grihastha. So, but when he became Guru, he was a sannyasi. So, Grihastha or sannyasi doesn't matter. Jai Krishna Tattva Veta, say Guru hai. So, we should select Guru in a proper method. Like here, 1 year period, and we hear, and then we should chant 16 rounds and should follow 4 principles, and then we should approach, and mutual acceptance should be there, and ISKCON recommendation letter should be there, like that. This is the process. So we should give time. The point is that one must not bring upon himself the calamity of having to reject his spiritual master. If spiritual master is authentic and you are rejecting him without any reason, he didn't fall down, but you're rejecting because of your ego, maybe this is actually an offense to Guru. If one is prudent, he will avoid such situation. Like if one wife is faithful and good wife, and the husband is rejecting wife, it's a sin. Similar with the husband also. If husband is providing everything and protecting wife and faithful, if wife is rejecting, it's sinful. Similarly, Guru is authentic, but because of some of our anything, maybe our ego, kam, krodh, lobh, moha, ahankar, we are rejecting our bona fide spiritual master. This is offense. So you should avoid this kind of situation. And selecting Guru, there are some ISKCON law, like it is the personal responsibility of candidates for initiation to correctly choose by the exercise of their own intelligence a particular devotee as spiritual master. Why again and again it is said by even ISKCON law also and scriptures also, that use your own intelligence. Why? Then only to whom we can surrender our ego. We need to surrender our ego to Guru. We need to surrender our mind, intelligence, ego to Guru. Everything belongs to Guru actually. So that's why we should very specific on this point, and we should use our intelligence. Candidates for initiation should accept initiation from a spiritual master only after developing firm and mature faith. Without developing firm and mature faith, and somebody told, oh, you are doing 16 rounds and 4 principles, okay, select a Guru. Why don't you select my Guru? No, Prabhu, I don't know him, I never met him. Or no, so what happened? He's an authentic spiritual master. You just select, but it's okay, it's good. If somebody kick you when you are just watching watching the view of Gangas, and somebody kicked you, you are fallen the Gangas, you will become purified. But you have no faith, and without faith, you might offend your Guru many ways, and we might consider him as an ordinary human being. And maybe because sometimes Guru wants to discipline us, we may leave to Guru. So again and again it is said in ISKCON law, in scriptures, that without developing firm and mature faith in that devotee and in his ability, that this Guru will take me back to Godhead. We should have firm faith that, oh, he is able to take me back to Godhead, and I can accept his teachings. Then only. The Sadhu, Shastra and Guru are the authoritative references to apply in ascertaining the level of advancement of a devotee. So how we are advancing? How we can measure? From Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. ISKCON law 7.2, responsibility of candidate for initiation. This is the candidate's responsibility. Receiving official ISKCON Guru approval signifies that the devotee has successfully completed the authorization process set forth in ISKCON law, and that in the judgment of certain senior devotees, the candidate measures up to the standards and guidelines given in ISKCON law. So to become a Guru in ISKCON, there are some ISKCON law, and if somebody is Guru, so he has gone through those ISKCON laws. However, such approval is not automatically to be taken as a statement about the degree of God realization of the approved Guru, and it is not intended to replace the intelligence discrimination of the candidate. So candidate need to use his own intelligence before selecting guru. This is very important. And in the purport, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila 1.35, Srila Prabhupada is saying, it is imperative that a serious person accept a bona fide spiritual master in terms of the sastric injunctions. So, sastric injunctions will be always there, and we should follow. Like Sri Jiva Goswami advises that one not accept a spiritual master in terms of hereditary or customary social and ecclesiastical conventions. Means, in Hindi it's jatigata, paramparagata, and because the society has accepted a guru, or because, oh, I am a music lover and that guru sings so well, so he will be my guru. No, you are not going for music. You are going for Krishna consciousness, right? So guru's business is not like somebody go to guru. Okay, I don't have money, so if I go to this guru, maybe he can solve my problem in business. Or okay, I don't have child, maybe he can give some blessings so that I can get a child. Or okay, some material benefits. We should not, this is an inappropriate method. This is another point. What is the inappropriate method? For seeking some material benefits if we take shelter to a guru. This is not proper way. So Sri Jiva Goswami also said that not because of your family followed, or not because of the society followed, we should use our intelligence. And Guru's business is not giving any material benefits. Guru's only business is giving you Krishna consciousness, so that by this consciousness you can go back to Godhead. We no need to come back here again and again and struggle and taking pain of adhibhautik, adhidevik, adhyatmik klesh and janma mrityu jara vyadhi. So one should simply try to find a genuinely qualified spiritual master for actual advancement in spiritual understanding. So we genuinely pray to Krishna, oh Krishna, please introduce me with my spiritual master, and by mercy of Krishna we get an authentic guru. And when we get an authentic spiritual master, by mercy of spiritual master, when we follow his orders, we can get Krishna prema, which is the ultimate goal of every living entity. In lecture Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.26 and 27, Srila Prabhupada gave lecture in 1975. You don't require large definition of Guru. What is Guru? So Vedic knowledge gives you the indication, Tad Vijnanartham. If you want to know the science of spiritual life, Tad Vijnanartham sa Gurum eva bhigachet. It is from Mundak Upanishad 1.2.12. You must approach Guru. And who is Guru? Simple definition. Guru means who is the faithful servant of God. Very simple. So Guru always consider himself as the servant of Krishna, but for a disciple, he is Krishna himself. Disciple should be convinced like that as per scriptures. Then only we can advance in spiritual path. So in Bhagavatam it is said, Hari Guru Charan Upasana Astro Jahi, means by taking shelter of the in the lotus feet of Lord Hari and spiritual master, then only we can cut the knots of Maya. We can cut the knots of attachment. Otherwise there is no astra, no other astra. So we must be surrendered to our Guru. That is very important. So from selecting Guru, we have understood that we should use our intelligence, we should give time of that 1 year hearing, and then when we develop firm faith on Guru, then only we should select a Guru. Otherwise we should not go for the wrong methods. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.